the shot against Rhode Island. It was an incredible game and an incredible ending, of course, with you hitting the game-winning shot. Can you just take us through the best you can that moment leading up to the shot and then, of course, it hitting?
Well, the last thing I remember was thinking to myself when she was at the foul line, like, wow, she just missed a really big foul shot. Like, that's all I remember. And then I've obviously watched the video 1,000 times, so I can remember it through the video. But I just remember getting the ball and knowing that we had no timeouts left and we only had 6 seconds. So just trying to create the best shot possible, and thankfully it went in.
I'm curious about, for both of you, like, how long did it take for you to realize, like, for it to set in, like, that happened, like, that's real?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if it even has yet.
Yeah, I mean, it was huge when we got the 4th seed going into the tournament, getting the double bye. So really looking back and remembering that game, like, that was kind of the difference maker. And obviously coming off of 3 really tough losses, that was a huge momentum changer, especially going into the tournament next week.
Looking at this team as they're trying to make a push through A-10s to get this championship, you have Megan Kiki won the championship her first year. Sue's won a championship elsewhere. Is it different for you guys as 2 players that haven't been able to win a championship yet, that maybe like that hunger is different or anything like that?
Definitely. I mean, it would be super special. But yeah, I think falling short the last 3 years has really given us some motivation going into this tournament, especially the last time with this group. I mean, obviously we all have an extra, me and Sarah have an extra year for our 5th years, but with this group we'll never have a team like this again. And I think it's just that little extra motivation that we'll have in the back of our mind going into this tournament.
Sarah, your mom is obviously a very, very successful head coach. Can you talk about what it was like growing up, being an aspiring basketball player while also having a great teacher like your mom with you along the way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she made it so easy for me to find my love for the game, whether it was playing for her or just doing things on my own. I was always in the gym because she was always in the gym, which made it obviously so much easier for me to find the love for the game and also to work on my game. I really had no other option than to do that when I was obviously in the gym. And then just like learning from her, especially as a point guard, having a mom as a coach is definitely helpful. And I credit like all of the things that I've learned to what she's taught me.
Especially, Sarah, I really enjoy talking to Candace and even like Allie Keller. Like Allie Keller said, like, you're one of the smartest basketball players she's ever met. But I'm curious, like, for both of you guys, what are some of the things that you both do well since you've played in the backcourt together that people don't necessarily notice, that because you're playing together, you guys realize, man, she does that really well?
I'll start because Sarah is one of the smartest basketball players I've ever been able to play with, and I've been very fortunate. In really tight game situations, she knows exactly what to do. She doesn't even have to think. And I obviously know her off the court really well, and she's a really smart kid. But on the court, her IQ is just unbelievable. And I keep telling her she should be a college coach because she is an unbelievable talent that not many people have.
Thanks, Anna.
Of course.
I mean, speaking about what Anna DeWolfe is great at on the basketball court, it's extremely easy, but she's also just an amazing teammate, and even that is just, I think, seen by everyone, whether it be on or off the court. That's just so easy to see. She's also a great leader, so I could talk all day about how great she is on the court, but off the court as well and leading our team, she's also extremely good at doing that. So,
well, real quick, because Anne just mentioned it, have you considered, after your career is over, like going into coaching? I know your mom's a fantastic coach. She's up for the National Girls Basketball Coach of the Year.
Yeah. I definitely have. I mean, I'm getting my master's right now, so there is a part of me that's like, I've done all this school. Part of me is like, am I going to put it all to waste if I just go coach right away? But I think it's definitely going to be something that I'll come back to after a couple of years of trying out the business world. But we'll see how long that lasts. So
I guess if you can think way back, you've both been here for 5 years now. If you can think way on back, what was it like to begin your time at Fordham with such an amazing run, like what that team had, securing, winning the A-10s and securing an NCAA tournament bid? I mean, like nothing like it, I'm sure. Yeah. But I mean, Meg, if you want to start,
I can start. It was such an amazing experience, especially being a freshman and experiencing what every team hopes for at the beginning of your season. Winning the A-10s, tying or being co-champions of the regular season to then make it to March Madness, and just the opportunities that we had. We were on Jimmy Fallon. We traveled like rock stars. Like, it was just amazing. So I think every year from then, because Kaitlyn and I are the last girls on the team to have experienced that. So which I think is a really good thing because we know what's coming and what to expect when it comes tournament time here in a couple days. But I just think that it's the standard and like staying together as a team, because this is kind of when teams will fray apart and, you know, it's tough. It's a long season. So if we're kind of able to be the glue for our team because we know what it takes, I think that's just an amazing role that we're both willing to, you know, take on. But, you know, we definitely have to have a lot of luck come our way when it comes tournament time. And I think looking at the bracket, we're already kind of seeing that luck fall our way. So we're really excited. And I think that especially after the win against Rhode Island, we're kind of replenished in the way we're like coming off 2 losses, but then proving to ourselves how good of a team we are by beating the number 1 seed was the best thing that could have happened for our team at this point in the season.
Yeah, I think Meg pretty much touched on it, but freshman year, it set our expectations so high for the rest of the time. We're like, well, this is easy when it comes to championship every single time.
It really was like, oh, we'll just win every year.
Yeah.
Like, there's no plan B.
Yeah. It was like, well, that was easy. And then sophomore year, there was always that, like, all right, it's time to repeat, target on the back. But I'm like, well, we did it once, like, twice is not that big of a deal. And then we quickly learned it's not that easy through the years. But, you know, this is like a pretty special one, too, because freshman year, as much as we contributed as players and teammates, we did get to ride the wave of our senior leadership and our upperclassmen. So you're not expected to do so much and perform the little details. But now being in the 5th year position, the oldest on the team and the captains, it's kind of up to us to, you know, people didn't experience this before, and it's up to us to want this as much for our younger teammates as much as like to sandwich it and start with the championship, leave with the championship. So there's so much riding on this. And I think Meg and I have talked about this a lot. It's just we had so much joy from that experience our freshman year that as much as we want to win, like it is so, I want all of our teammates to experience it too.
Definitely.
Like we have such good players on our team that haven't been able to experience it. And it's like, damn, if we can put it all together and everyone get this one jump at it, because we never know, you know, where the cards are going to lie in the future. So, yeah, really special opportunity ahead of us for sure.
As I just mentioned, you've both been captains for consecutive seasons. And Kaitlyn, we can start with you. Like, how has your leadership evolved since your freshman year?
Wow, that's a good question. I think from the start, I was very unsure of when I would say things as a leader. So, I mean, as a sophomore, it's kind of hard to demand things as seniors with confidence. So I was telling them things that I had to equally expect from myself, and especially just coming off a freshman year where I obviously was able to contribute in different ways, and then sophomore year take on a new leadership position. That was definitely a big step and a big transition for me. But now just going into my 5th year, grandma year, I think it's just, you know, that idea of building relationships with people, all of my coaches, all of my players. You're not going to get that respect or that attention or, you know, that desire to do something for someone else and then reciprocate it back to you if you're not putting in time with your relationships on and off the court. So I think that's been like a big key to my success. Also being surrounded by other great captains like Meg has really, you know, taken that to the next level for me.
Yeah, so I think that obviously I was in a little bit of a different situation than Kaitlyn. I became a captain for my first year, my senior year. So going from freshman year, like it was great having amazing leaders and role models to kind of like build that foundation and establish our standards of what we expect from each other and just as a team as a whole. But I think that it's transformed, like Kaitlyn said, of being just having a louder voice on the court and, like she said, always expecting the best from your teammates, but also equally having them expect the best from you, like, and you have to be able to take it as well. And I'm a big like lead by example, and obviously right now I'm injured, so it's kind of transformed the last couple weeks and months of just being more vocal on the sideline and being more there for my teammates in a mental perspective and making sure everyone's okay, and, you know, always putting the team first before myself and making those sacrifices that you have to make in order for the team's best and their success. So
A bit of a sappy question, but we have to ask it. What's your favorite thing about each other? And that could be either on the court, that could be off, that could be anything basketball related, or it could be something that you've experienced now being besties for 5 years. I don't know if either of you have an immediate answer. I was like, You kind of look
I'm
like,
like, wait, this
kinda
might take
know.
some
You kinda
time.
Well, on the court, Meg is definitely one of the hardest working players I've ever played for. Like, she does the position that gets no shine sometimes, and she does all the dirty work for our team. And I think, like, we feel it now down the stretch a little bit, and I think it's like a really unsung position. But don't
Thanks,
blow up
Kiki.
your head with that. And then off the court, I would say Meg is definitely one of the funniest people. Like, again, don't like close your ears. But our whole team will just like die laughing. Like, we have like a banter between us that the whole team like kind of feeds in on and stuff. So it's just like, again, like just a really funny person, knows how to uplift people. So
Thanks,
Aw.
Kiki.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I would say on the court, and Coach Candace kind of hit this on the head, like Kaitlyn really is the glue of the team. And I think that especially the underclassmen, I mean, I've like had the privilege of like being able to be her teammate and like her be my leader and stuff for the past 5 years.
privilege is a good word.
Close your ears. But I think that especially the underclassmen, as it's coming to a like wind down and like we're both going to be leaving, like I think that they've recognized like that's really big shoes to fill. Kaitlyn's leadership, it's just like it's been insane since freshman year, and especially like being put in that role as a sophomore is insane. And it's just kind of always like, it's like when we do face adversity, it's like, well, we all turn to Kaitlyn. It's like, well, what now? Like, what are we going to do now? And she just always finds the way to find an answer. And then off the court, Kaitlyn's pretty funny. I think that I set her up for a lot of the jokes. But we really do have the same sense of humor. But aside from that, she's a really good planner. So, like, I'll be lying in my bed. She'll, like, come in my room. She's like, come on, let's go. Like, we're going to go do something. Or, like, we're going to hang out. So that kind of, like, gets me, like, out of a funk. Or just a very caring person in general. Like, always making sure I'm doing okay, especially, like, with what I've been going through. It's, like, been a little tough mentally, but she's always been checking in on me, which is really nice, and I appreciate that. So thanks, Keeks.
Of course, Maggie.
So first question, you've both made such a strong impact at Fordham in such a short time, both being transfer students. Starting with Jada, what was that process like deciding to leave your school and come to Fordham?
Yeah, so I did 4 years at my last school, St. Francis in PA, and I kind of knew being like in the middle of nowhere, PA, like I kind of wanted to get out. And so I was just, after senior year, kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, entered the portal, crossed my fingers kind of, and just like figured wherever I'd go, and wherever I was like meant to be, I'd end up at. And luckily it was Fordham, so I'd say that's kind of how the process went.
I would say it was like an easy process, having played Fordham that year. I was at Stony Brook. Ended up talking to Anna like during the game, and I was like, okay, like they're nice or whatever. And then getting in the portal and seeing that they wanted me, and I had watched them like a year or two prior to that, and seeing like they're just like a winning program, and that was something that like I wanted to be a part of at the next level of where I was before. So Fordham happened to be one of those schools that contacted me, and I just fit right in, and they welcomed me, and I wasn't even on their team. So I was like,
That's awesome.
it was a good transition.
Was it a little bit of a words are so hard today. It's just like a difficult day. It's not even that early in the morning, but words are very difficult today. Was it a bit of like a weird thing? Not weird, but like, did it feel a little funky maybe to be like, oh, I'm now on the roster of a team that I used to play against, you know?
No, not at all. Like, it's such a great group of girls. Like, they make it so easy to fit in. So it was just like, it felt like I was there for 4 years, and it was my first year. So
I love that. That's so sweet. And so, Jada, you know, you came in as a grad student, obviously as a transfer, and so you had one season to really make like an immediate impact, which you've obviously fully done. So I guess what was it like, you know, being brought into this locker room and being called on in the way you were to be there and be like, all right, time to have an immediate impact and be a part of this game, which you absolutely have done. Both of you have done.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, kind of just going off Sue's, like, I think the girls make it, and not even the girls, like the staff too, just everyone on the team. It's so welcoming and just so easy to come right in and like make make it feel like you're right away a part of the team. Like I even felt like that on my visit before I was even enrolled to go to the school. I'd say Sophia Sabino is probably a big part of that because I actually played basketball with her oldest sister at my last school. But I'd say, the girls make it so easy. The staff just like trusting you and like putting confidence in you every single day, I'd say is definitely the biggest part of that.
I love that. And then Jada, did you feel like drawn to like Asia's leadership and things of that nature because she had also transferred into Fordham?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone had always been talking about like, when Asia's back, when Suze is back. I'm like, okay, like who's this Asia Dingle everyone keep talking about? I'm like, okay. And then I met her. And at the time, she was just like, I think coming back from like an injury or something. So she hadn't been running pickup or anything like that. And I was like, I really want to see her play, whatever. Everyone's like, oh, you don't have to worry about her. I was like, oh, what do you mean? I was like, oh, you don't have to worry about her. Like, she's fine. Like, she probably would never have to practice a day in her life. Like, she's going to do what she does. And I literally saw her first practice like a couple of weeks later, and I was just beside myself. I was like, we're winning a championship. It's like, this girl's
so cool.
insane. Like, what you guys see in the games, like, she just does that in practice all the time. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
That's also gonna be like an ego boost for you. Like,
She's like,
you're like fully injured, and they're like, no, it's fine.
you're like, don't worry, she's cool.
Also, most, like we mentioned before, most steals in a season of Fordham history. So focusing on the defensive side of things first, has defensive awareness always like come naturally to you in your playing career? Is it something you make an emphasis to work on, or is it a mixture of both?
No, that's definitely been something that's been with me. I guess I'm fortunate enough to know how to play it. It's definitely not something that I work on. I guess I was just gifted. And
nice.
I mean, besides that, like just timing and studying like my opponent is what I work on.
I love that. So then it's you also very clearly do not shy away from physical contact at all. I feel like that's something that everyone on the team notices, and especially watching the game as fans, Julie and I have often commented on how physical you are in every game. You have 2,000 plus points now, which congratulations, by the way, very exciting. And it's amazing to watch you, be so physical in that kind of game. So I guess, does it take a certain kind of mindset to be able to do that and say I'm getting it? I mean, like, I'm only 5'2", and especially, like, I watch some of the teams you guys play, and they're, like, all, like, 6'3", and I'm like, Rhode Island, they were all so tall. And I was like,
9 players over 6 feet.
Yeah, and I'm a whopping 5'2". So I was like, wow, if that was me, I'd probably be like, ooh, I don't know what to do. I guess, what does it take to be able to, be in there like that?
Just having heart, like, and every time you step on the court, like, just thinking, like, they gotta play me. Like, I'm not worried.
I love that.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah,
they gotta play me.
I've been small my whole life, so I've been working on like trying to finish over. Everyone's been taller than me.
Yeah.
So like, I'm used to it.
Right.
They just gonna keep getting taller.
I think her biggest thing is just her relationships with all of us. We really mesh not only on the court but off the court, and just having that constant communication with each other has really put us above other relationships, I guess. But yeah, I think she's definitely done a fantastic job of leading us and putting us in positions for success. So, yeah.
Yeah, I also agree exactly what Anna said. I also just, like she said, being able to have that relationship where you feel like you can, one, talk to her about anything, but also like then on the court being able to trust her like with end of game decisions and having the right people in. I mean, obviously that's huge, especially for a first year coach. So I think she's doing a great job, and all of us trust her. So
I think also, like, just adding on to that, like, she's also looking for us too. Like, as we lean on her, she leans on us a lot, and I think that's just like, you don't see that a lot, and I think that's why we have great success, because we have that trust between she trusts us and we trust her. So I think that's
the player coach relationship is really good.
Yeah.
I think that going into this season with Coach Candace, like stepping into this role, it's been great. I'm so happy and like proud of our coaching staff for how well like they've handled the entire situation and the entire season. They've been so great for us mentally, of just like kind of making basketball fun again. Because obviously, like, playing at this kind of level, it can be mentally tough on you. So this year was kind of just all about, like, let's win, obviously, but let's also, like, have fun while doing it. And if we're having fun, like, that should kind of be enough to take us there, motivate us enough. But she's been great. Like, I honestly, like, really can't complain about anything, truthfully. Like, our coaches are amazing. Like, every day at practice is something new, and there's jokes cracked. And, like, it's, especially being fifth years, it's kind of like, like, we're close enough with them. Like, we've experienced enough with them where, like, we can really joke. But I think that she just pushes every player to be a better person and player on and off the court. And she's especially given Kaitlyn and I and, like, the upperclassmen, our other captains, a longer leash with, like, helping lead the team. And she really values our input and asks us questions and everything that can help the team. And I really appreciate that, because that just means she trusts and respects what we think. And that respect obviously is mutual. It goes both ways. So, yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, she's really good at finding that balance of, like, let's play basketball hard and smart and focused, but, like, we're going to have fun doing it. And it's a hard line to find. But I think she also did a really good job, like, now that the large majority of the girls who are playing right now or in the rotation are seniors or are fifth years. So she has put so much trust in us, which I don't even know if she realizes the impact that has on us as players, but, like, to know that you've been through the cycle. Of course, there's always coaching that needs to be done, but there's, like, that level of, I trust you. You mess up one play, I know you're going to get it back. You've played this game for 4 or 5 years now. Just, you know, that constant, okay, next play, you got this. And just being able to have that group of 6, 7, 8 of us that are currently in the rotation, and her being able to trust us enough to call plays down the stretch, make defensive choices that might have been away from the scout. But overall, I can't say anything but good things about Coach Candace.
I'd say for it being my first year with Candy, you know, I'd say I was kind of so proud of, like, what I saw, because when I came in on my visit, obviously she was an assistant, and everyone was saying how much they loved her, blah, blah, blah. Like, she was funny, she was cool. And, like, now taking on the head coach position, I saw kind of that line drawn between still funny and cool, but also we got to get stuff done.
Right.
And I also saw how much of a leader and, like, her basketball IQ and how much of, like, that coaching perspective comes in, because when you're assistant, you kind of also get the personal with the players and stuff like that. And I think she's done a great job of taking on both roles and still, like, letting players still be able to confide in her and make it feel like she's an assistant, but also having the authority of the head coach. So I'd say just from my 1 year and, like, looking kind of outside in, that's what I've seen. And I'm just so proud of Candy, and I'm just so happy for her. So I think she's doing a great job.
Aw, so sweet.
Yeah, bouncing off of that, like, the growth, as she said, she was hilarious. And after Coach Sonia passing, like, I would say she was, like, next in line. So I feel like she, like, high-key had her foot in the door already, like, had that experience. Like, that was somebody that Coach Gately, like, leaned on, and her stepping right in, like, obviously she's new to it, but, like, she filled that role so quickly, and we trusted her. She was our assistant, trusted her as assistant, trusted her as a head coach, and she's been doing great so far this season.
Absolutely.
Let's do this. Current go-to song that you're listening to.
We've been listening to a lot of Luke Combs recently. His Call Me album is what we've been listening to a lot.
Sarah's a huge Swiftie, so
I
she's
love Taylor
actually
Swift.
she's actually going to see her in Vegas. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh
Taylor
my
Swift
gosh.
So
recently.
I've been listening to a lot of that too.
An important question, because I got
Love
into
it.
a little bit of a fight with Colleen and AO, and then they came over to my side about it. Is all Too Well, the 10-minute version,
I love it.
is that an acceptable song to play in a bar scene on a karaoke machine?
No.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think
it's
yes.
too long.
Yes.
Do
Too
the
long.
3-minute version.
Right.
Anna,
No.
you
But
love the 10
I
minute
do love
version.
it, but, like,
Listen, I'm
karaoke in
Right.
the bar, no.
Because they were, like, besides themselves, and I was like, I don't like the song, and they were like, what? And I was like, well, listen, my only interaction with it is out going places and having to listen to that song for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I will say
Really
it
ruins it for
probably
me.
is awful for like the audience to listen to the karaoke 10-minute version, but for the singer, I mean,
It's fun.
they're getting their Swiftie moment. Like they get to feel like they are Taylor
Right.
Swift.
Exactly.
Don't
Sure,
take-
they
don't
play-
take
yeah,
that
they
away
play
from
those.
them,
I
Lo.
won't.
And there's so many added verses that are so good that you miss out on if you just do the 2-minute
I mean, listen,
Exactly.
I am a huge fan of
Exactly.
the American Pie, like full extended version. So like, I get it.
version. Right.
It's just like when you're at the jukebox, don't play the 10-minute version of All Too.
I agree with you. Lou.
I can get behind that, I guess.
Okay, so my question is, are Crocs back?
Oh my
They've
god,
been
they've
back.
been back.
They've been
They've
back?
been back.
I have
They've
like
been
4
back.
pairs of Crocs. I've got the fuzzy ones. I've got
you have, like, the
multiple
Jibbitz?
colors. Of course I do. Yeah.
What's your favorite one?
Well, this is actually a funny story. I'm glad you asked this because one time I was over the summer. If I'm not like working the job that I work back home, I like just train kids. And one time I was training a kid outside at a random outdoor court, and I like this was actually going into my freshman year of Fordham. And when I was in high school, I was number 20. But when I was coming to Fordham, I was gonna be number 2. And I was rebounding for the kid who was taking a foul shot, and I looked down and there's a gibbet, and I'm like, oh my god, a gibbet, that's perfect. Like I'm gonna take it, of course. And I flip it over and it's a number 2. So it just like was
Wow.
really cool. I think that's definitely my favorite. My favorite.
And you
gibbet
still
that I
have it today?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Aw.
That's really cool.
Did you know that, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a reason
Story.
you went with 13?
So I was number 25 growing up, like all through like middle school and stuff, because that was my mom's number.
Nice.
And then my freshman year of high school, someone like one of the seniors was number 25, and the only small size jersey was number 13. So
For
I
Fordham
picked-
or for high school?
for high school.
Oh.
So it also happens that like my sister was born on the 13th, and so were my cousins. So I picked that one, and I wore it all through high school. So I just stayed with it.
How much of a say do you guys have in the creation of the playlist before games? 'Cause I know Kiki and Meg
You
are
can
big.
send.
I
You
made
can
it.
send anything.
Really?
Anyone on our team can send anything, and they just shuffle it.
How many of those? How many of that playlist ends up being your songs?
I
Say.
I
Well, we
usually
only
don't
have
send
one
anything
country
because I'm
song.
too
Okay.
lazy.
We only have one
That's fair.
country song on it because we also don't want to like the other team to be looking down at us like,
Right.
"Oh, what are they listening to?"
Interesting. Fun fact: I like music. Doesn't really get me
Really?
hype.
Really?
I've never really
Interesting.
listened to music to like before a big game. No, my brother calls me insane, but I really have never really been the one to listen to music to get hype.
It's like meditation, lock in,
Yeah.
silence.
Silence.
Listen.
It's listen, it's working.
It is working.
How many seagulls would you have to find in your house before you became suspicious that someone was planting seagulls in your house?
10.
That many?
Yeah, I think I would just like at first assume that they were just like all together.
I was
like
gonna say 5.
I was gonna go a little bit lower.
So if you saw 9 seagulls in your house,
9 seagulls. Listen, could happen.
Come on,
I'd be
All
like,
through
Julia.
the
this
window.
is a coincidence.
I would
I'm sure there's a
I would
reason for
think that
this.
they were all like hanging out together, and like then they came in my house. But then if there was the 10th, I'd be like, okay, someone's messing with me.
10 seagulls would be a lot. It's an obscene amount of seagulls.
That's funny.
I would say if there were more than 2, I would be.
I think 3. Like I could see 3 seagulls traveling together and be like open window, but
9,
I think
though?
I draw the line at
9?
4. I draw the line at
That
4.
would be so many.
9's a lot.
Yeah.
One
nine.
seagull is a lot to
What do
have
you
in
guys
your
have
house.
against
We're being
seagulls?
honest.
I like them.
I don't think
At
I have
a
anything
healthy
against
distance, I
seagulls.
can appreciate
Gross.
seagulls.
They're big.
They're gross and they just want food.
They're like sea rats,
Same.
Sea rats?
aren't they? What's the metaphor? Is there a metaphor for seagulls? I know they're not. They're like scavengers,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
birds.
For like chips on the beach.
Yeah.
What is your spirit animal?
Really good.
What is your spirit animal? I always love asking people this. Do you know? Go ahead, please.
Mammal, but I think mammal, but I would say dolphin.
I was gonna
A
say
dolphin.
dog. Oh,
Dolphin.
Oh.
Dolphin.
She's like, oh,
I'm
wait.
not basic. I would say dolphin because first off, I love the beach and love the ocean,
Right
and
on.
also dolphins like have their pods, like they have their people. And that's how I am. Like I really value my friendships, and they're very like they're like nice nice. I don't know, like are they animals like creatures like nice? They're nice, but also like very protective as well, and like really like care about the people around or the dolphins around them. So yeah, I'd say dolphins.
well, mine's a lot more basic than that. I think dog. Dog is just
I love
easy,
that.
but like makes sense because it's like loyal, dependent. You know, likes being a part of a group or like a family. Always wants to like have fun. So dolphin's good, but I'm a dog.
I have a follow-up question then about your dog question.
Sure.
What kind of dog? I have to ask. Do you have an idea?
No, that's a good question. I had like 2 pit bulls growing up, but I'm not really like a pit bull type. I would say like that's just too.
Coach Ken said you had the dog.
I had the dog.
That is true. That was said.
WG, but
Dog.
I don't know. Like golden retriever is like nice, friendly enough to make sense. I would like probably like could use to be more of a pit bull in some situations. I do have a little bit of me, like a little bit of Chihuahua sometimes, but
all bark, no bite. I actually have a really funny one, and we actually went back on Key Motion, which is like our video camera in the gym. So every year at Christmas we shoot half court shots the last 5 minutes of practice.
Oh, it's fun.
And it's kind of always like a fight for balls, because if you get the half court shot, like the coaches set up a prize table. So people are literally just running around. Like we probably put more effort into that than like practice at some points, which is like exposing ourselves. But
Candace doesn't need to hear that.
so I
We'll cut that
I
part out,
shot
don't
a
worry.
half court shot, and I look over and I see number 24 stole my ball, and I had enough with people taking my ball, and I was also out of breath, so I'm like, give me my ball back. So me and Kaitlyn are like physically fighting for the basketball because she's not giving it back, and like all of our teammates are just like walking past us, our trainer, strength coach, because they're so used to like us literally acting like 5-year-olds, and then like we literally ended up on the floor fighting for this ball, and like again, like nobody paid any mind, because even though
just walk by.
yeah, even though we're the oldest on the team, like we were pretty immature in some aspect, which I think our teammates will like support that kind of thing. But
Let's say you have like a camera, right? And and you like click it. Yeah. What does it? So what
What's
does the
the thing
camera
that
take?
comes out?
What's that
It's
word
a
called?
Picture.
It's a hawk?
PITCHER.
it's a picture.
Okay.
Let me say this in a sentence, because I feel like when I try and say the word, like it comes out weird, like I'm trying too hard. That's a really nice picture of you. C.
Okay.
There's a C.
Yes, that makes sense, but like I just say like that's a really cool picture. Like PITC. I know it's wrong.
But the word picture exists.
Yes, and
It's
it
a
is
weird
so
way to like make a
different.
comment about a like pitcher of water. Like I don't know.
Like, wow, that's like an awesome jug. Like
yeah.
I also say like library instead of like library. Like that's my thing. I guess.
There's a lot of like.
Good memories are like when we were in Cancun and the Bahamas. When we would travel to the games, we'd go on a bus, and I remember just singing like Alicia Keys or like Adele, like something we had no business singing, but like we were singing, and like Valisi on our team would like do the rhythm on the bus. Like it was just a random spark memory. It was just like a fun time, and a lot of our teammates think they can sing, but they can't.
Yeah, a lot of our teammates think that they can sing like "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele,
I've
but
been told
they
I can,
really
so.
cannot.
Who's like the worst singer? Who's the
Yeah.
worst?
Caitlyn,
No,
the
not
girl
at
sitting
all.
next to me. That's so foul.
That's
It's
crazy.
so true.
No.
You guys are fans of the NFL, right?
Mhm.
And which one of you guys are a Giants fan? And then you're an
I am.
Eagles fan?
Yes.
Ooh,
So,
tension.
The St.
yeah.
Joseph's game, that was like during the Eagles.
Eagles, Giants.
Giants.
We were roommates too.
Ooh.
Yeah,
And let's
So-
just say it was a very silent room.
I was going to say, for one of you guys, that was really great. For the other, I'm
very
assuming
sad.
it
But
wasn't
it was nice when we were able to visit LaSalle, and the Eagles were supposed to have their Super Bowl party that day, but the streets were clear, so there were no issues there.
Yeah, no,
Dang,
it
go
was a
Chiefs.
pretty. It was the
Yikes.
streets were empty. I think everyone was. One of our friends, one of our old teammates, actually, Lex Juliana. She was a 5th year when we were freshmen, and her boyfriend. He lives in Philly, and he's a huge Eagles fan. And she just said like he like slept for like 48 hours after, because he just needed needed time alone, like to himself. But yeah, it was pretty upsetting. But there's always next year.
both of you guys. I would like to hear an answer for both of you guys, but I'm really curious about Jada's answer. Fruit. So-
don't get me started.
There's a mystery here, I guess.
What is your favorite fruit? And then second, the craziest fruit you've had in your opinion on it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, they always ask me my favorite fruit, and I can never pick one. I'll tell you. I'd go strawberry.
Classic.
Unpopular opinion. I love grapefruit.
Oh.
I actually had my first grapefruit like a week ago. I hated it. Hated
Okay,
it.
Put sugar
was it
on it?
sweet or
No.
was it Bitter.
It was bitter.
Bitter?
Okay.
All bitter.
Did you put
If
sugar
it's-
on it?
Did you put sugar on it?
It was from the calf, so probably
Oh.
not my
Okay,
best
so maybe
move.
not the best.
Yeah.
grapefruit.
Righteous.
Yeah,
What
that's
you
okay.
mean?
Yeah.
I'm starting to backtrack here and realize maybe I didn't have a good grapefruit.
We'll expose it.
It was
again.
very bitter, but I should put sugar on it. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, we love a good kiwi. We love a good
Mhm.
pineapple always.
Mhm.
Cantaloupe, I wasn't always the biggest fan of,
Mhm.
but I've been into it lately. Exotic fruits, I've had dragon fruit and star fruit.
Oh, I love star fruit.
Star fruit is
So
good.
good.
Dragon fruit, some people say is a little tasteless, but if you have like a good one,
Right.
you ever had like the Starbucks dragon fruit?
Yes, I was about
Mhm.
to say I've never
It-
had dragon fruit, but I've had the drink.
Okay,
It was good.
it's
Refreshing.
kind of it's. I mean, it's supposed to taste like dragon fruit. Like not every dragon fruit tastes exactly like that. It's like the sweetest thing ever. But
Yeah.
good dragon fruit
Mhm.
does taste kind of like the Starbucks drink. I will
Nice.
say so. Yeah, but fruit's
Noted.
my favorite fruit easily, besides mac and cheese.
Good answers.
I love mac and cheese.
I love that.
So does Suze.
do you have a fruit preference?
No, I just eat watermelon, pineapple,
Delicious.
cantaloupe,
Delicious.
and melon.
All good. all good
Mango, you
answers.
love mango.
I do like mangoes and oranges.
So every fruit.
I was gonna say you're
But
very like
no exotic. I don't.
yeah.
not messing with that.
No, if they look weird. not eating. And I had the one that's pink. I don't know what it's called.
Which one is that? The pink one?
Not the one with the seeds. The other one.
Pomegranate.
That.
Oh,
Yeah,
You didn't like
pomegranate.
pomegranate.
I've had
No.
pomegranate seeds. I love pomegranate seeds. I've never had pomegranate.
It's a little pointless.
Or grapefruit.
You don't like grapefruit.
Yeah, no.
yeah,
no
you don't like
Grapefruit.
grapefruit.
You do not. That's a true friend right
Yeah,
there. When
you
you're
don't
like,
like
I know
grapefruit.
you don't like this. Okay, another fun question. Who would play you in the movie of your life if you could pick someone? It doesn't even have to be a person that you like look like or act like. It could literally just be like, who do you want to play you in the movie version of your life? If you haven't, this is like a hard question.
Celebrity or not celebrity? It can
Yeah.
literally- like any person.
You
who
can pick
is
each other,
living.
like if you want to, or dead even. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, no, open it up.
It could be.
anything.
Kevin Hart.
Oh,
I love that
I
as a-
love that answer. I love that answer.
Amazing.
That is such a good answer.
I was going the comedian route too.
Yeah.
Because I'm funny.
You guys ever see Girls Trip?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, okay, I'm thinking of her last name's not coming to me, but her name is Candace, something Candace, and I can't think of it. But
Oh,
Tiffany Haddish is also in
Yes,
that.
Tiffany Haddish
I was
is
like,
incredible.
now I'm gonna
Um,
look up the cast.
I am.
Girls Trip.
Regina Hall, Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith. Those are. That's pretty much.
I'd
it.
go Regina Hall too.
Regina
Hall's a great
good
pick.
one.
Regina Hall is. You guys ever seen Scary Movie 2?
I
love her.
haven't. I haven't.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
She's so funny. Wow, what a cast for this movie. I'm looking at this now and I'm like, this
There's
is
supposed to
crazy.
be a second one coming out.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a second one
Thank
coming
you.
out. That'd be great.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
Really good. That'd be really funny.
You guys have to have a movie night.
Yeah.
We did.
What
We
was
did
the
as a
movie?
team.
Don't really
What did we
tell
watch?
those.
Step Brothers.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's an all-time movie.
That was,
That's
that
like
was good.
That was
that's like
really
top
funny.
3 for
That's a
me.
that's a good one.
Anything. Seth Rogen wasn't in that movie, but he was like producing it. Like anything Seth Rogen related, I'm like all in on.
It's Catalina
All in a women's
wine
sports
mixer.
podcast. Yep. Yeah, right.
It's Catalina wine mixer.
Have you seen? Oh my gosh, how am I blanking on it? The one Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill.
I'm gonna need you to be a wee bit more specific.
Oh my gosh, it's the Lou knows the ID. Oh my gosh,
Seth Rogen.
Super bad, super bad,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I was like, I need a little more.
A little more.
Yeah.
McLovin, yeah.
McLovin, yeah.
I was gonna say when you search up Seth Rogen Jonah Hill movie, there's about 6 that come up. So
They are frequent collaborators.
they are.
Or like,
They're quite funny.
that's
Okay.
so funny. I've seen all of those. I'm a big TV person.
I love it.
I was a big TV person and I got like super busy this year and now all I watch is South Park.
South Park. I grew up.
Yeah.
I love South Park.
Really?
I had a
Me,
little,
my
like,
brother put me on to that big time.
And one of our other WFUV pals, Maddie, put us on to South Park and I watched one episode and I can't stop. I'm just like constantly looking up like top 10 South Park episodes of all time and just like running through them.
Shut up, Cal.
Yeah,
that
wait a minute.
good.
Wait a minute.
That was pretty good.
That was incredible.
That was actually
We
really
love
good.
Cartman.
Butters is my favorite.
I feel bad for Butters.
Butters always gets the bad end of the stick.
Yeah, but he
feel like-
knows. He knows.
He knows,
It's okay.
yeah.
Well, just as a hard worker and a great person and someone that they can turn to and look for advice from, and also an A10 champion.
Love that.
Love that.
That's a good answer.
It's a great answer.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Pretty similar to Anna. Like, I would want to be remembered as a really hard worker, someone who did whatever it took for the team to win, and just a good teammate, a good friend, and an A10 champion.
I would say, as much as I want to be recognized as like a reliable player and a, reliable teammate, I also want to be remembered as like a really good person to like the freshmen and sophomores and anybody on the team. I want to know like that I always had their back in situations, that I wanted the best for them. And I think like our team is very good in that aspect, that it really, especially down the stretch, we're really realizing like we can't do this by ourselves. And so I just, want people to recognize just the person I was, hopefully, to them. And obviously there's times I can improve and, cheer a little bit louder or talk a little bit more, but just, being a good teammate, good person. Because again, 10 years down the road, we've had this conversation too, is no one will really remember your stats or whatever, how poor you shot a game, how great you shot a game. It's just the experiences you have with your teammates. And I would never want to look back and think that I wasn't a good teammate just because I didn't score the ball or couldn't do whatever it was. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Kaitlyn kind of took the words from my mouth. I would say, obviously a good teammate, but also just a good person who is always there for their teammates, on and off the court. Like, obviously freshman, sophomore year, it's a huge transition from high school, and there's a lot that is expected from you. And I remember my freshman year was the people above me that really made my experience and helped me through challenging times. And I kind of want to be that person for the underclassmen as well. And even like my friends who are the same age as me, just like knowing that I'm always there for them, and just a caring person, charismatic, things like that.
Yeah, I'd say I just like, if people were to like hear my name or like to ever talk about me, and hopefully not on the bad side, it would just be like that I'd be known for like, I guess, as like a hard worker. Like I always gave my best or like tried 100% and was always buying into, the team aspect. And just being a team player and knowing that people can count on me. I think that's the biggest thing. I'd want to say I want to leave after this season.
I would say, hopefully, people like enjoyed playing with me, and just like I can flip the script from being funny and also like being serious, and getting the job done, and just having an impact not only on the court but off the court.
Right.
And just being like the role model to the younger ones. Mm-hmm.